Post in the land. Everyone presenting themselves as the right choice.
Kailangan natin ang leader ng tama ay paglalaban at ang mali ay lalabanan.
Si Manny Pacquiao po ay handang gumabay at mamuno sa inyo.
Making a number of promises.
I will form the broadest form of government with the best and brightest at its helm.
I will eliminate corruption, criminality, as well as COVID.
Urging political reforms.
Simula pa po lamang, asikasuhin na natin ang mga pagbabago sa pamamagitan ng charter change.
Itinuloy yung naisin ng ating Pangulong Duterte ang maging isang federalismo ang ating bansa.
Pushing for representation.
Manggagawa ang lumilikha ng kaunlaran. Kami ang mayorya ng lipunan.
Isama na natin sa usapan ng mamamayan.
And gearing up for the challenges ahead.
I know that it is this manner of unifying leadership that can lead us through this crisis.
Lalaban ako. Lalaban tayo.
10 candidates, 1 debate stage. Who among them will take a step closer to become the 17th President of the Philippines? Welcome to a CNN Philippines special presentation, The Filipino Votes Presidential Debate 2022. I'm Ruth Cabal. In just half an hour, we will see almost all presidential candidates emerging on one stage for the first time this election season to tackle the most pressing issues the country is facing, from health crisis, economic recovery, corruption, crime and illegal drugs, human rights, poverty, the West Philippine Sea, foreign relations, and many more. CNN Philippines is hosting this in-person debate in hopes of helping every voter make an informed decision come May 9th. You're now seeing live pictures from the University of Santo Tomas in Manila, where the face-off will take place. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, only about 200 people, including credentialed staff, are allowed in. Thanks to Microsoft Philippines' state-of-the-art technology, hundreds of others can join us virtually. We have 7 sitting and former government officials, a labor leader, a Muslim candidate, and a cardiologist. One of these 10 hopefuls will have the duty and privilege of leading the nation for the next 6 years. Get to know more about them in this report.
A 10-way race to Malacanang for the May 9th, 2022 elections with 9 men and 1 woman applying for the job to be the 17th Philippine president. Former Foreign Affairs Undersecretary Ernesto Abella's name is first on the ballot. He was the mild-mannered spokesman of President Rodrigo Duterte during his first year in office. Prior to government work, Abella was a Christian evangelist, a newspaper columnist, a kidnapped victim, and an agribusiness owner. Union leader Leody de Guzman is vying for the presidency after a failed attempt in the 2019 Senate race. De Guzman, who works for a glove factory, vows to end contractualization and raise worker salaries if elected. First-time Manila Mayor Isko Moreno Domagoso is eyeing a big leap after leading the country's capital city for 3 years. The former actor lost in the 2016 senatorial polls. He also ran for and held other local positions under different political parties. Presidential hopeful Norberto Gonzales draws experience from serving in the cabinet of former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo as Defense Secretary, National Security Advisor, and Presidential Advisor for Special Concerns. Longtime Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson vies for the presidency a second time, 18 years since his unsuccessful attempt. The chief of the Philippine National Police under former President Joseph Estrada is banking on his legacy against crime and corruption and decades of government service. Lanao del Sur resident Faisal Mangondato is also running as president. He prides himself as the first Muslim aspirant to make the cut. Former Senator Bongbong Marcos remains in the running amid multiple petitions to block his presidential bid. His lawyers have called the disqualification cases as nuisance petitions. In 2016, he lost in the vice presidential race and the subsequent electoral protest. Jose Montemayor Jr., eighth on the ballot, is a jack of all trades, a cardiologist, lawyer, economist, and professor in law and medicine. Billionaire boxing champ and Senator Manny Pacquiao says he wants to lift more Filipinos out of poverty beyond giving away his own money. The 8th Division world champion has retired from the sport to focus on his new fight in the political arena. Once reluctant to run, Vice President Leni Robredo was last to throw her hat in the 2022 ring. The human rights lawyer was thrust into politics with the death of her husband, former Interior Secretary Jessie Robredo. She initially pursued unification talks among opposition bets, which fell apart. By June 30, one of them will take an oath as the new commander-in-chief and leader of over 110 million Filipinos. Melissa Lopez, CNN Philippines.
Out of 10 candidates, only 9 confirmed their attendance. Let's now head to UST in Manila. Our correspondent, George Cahiles, joins us live from the venue. George, tell us, what can we expect in today's face-off?
Well, Ruth, welcome to UST, the home of CNN Philippines debates. UST has been our partner since the 2016 elections, and yesterday we had an interesting vice presidential debate that was attended by 7 out of 9 candidates. And in a few minutes from now, 9 out of 10 presidential candidates will be standing side by side on that stage to discuss relevant issues that hopefully will help the electorate choose the next leader of the country. As of now, all the 9 candidates have arrived here in UST. They are staying in the holding area. Our lifestyle section, CNN Life, also took portraits of the candidates. And since we are still in the pandemic, health and safety protocols are strictly followed. Each presidential candidate is allowed to bring up to 10 guests who will be seated in socially distanced chairs in front of the stage. But through our partner Microsoft Philippines, we have a virtual audience. You may see them on the left and the right LED screens. There are 12 podiums on the stage, Ruth. The 2 in the middle are for the debate moderators, CNN Philippines chief correspondent and anchor P. Ontiveros and senior anchor Pinky Webb. 5 podiums on the left and the right sides of the stage are for the presidential candidates. Since Bongbong Marcos is keeping today's debate, the podium assigned to him will be left vacant. We will not go easy on the candidates as we will be asking them tough questions that really matter to Filipinos. CNN Philippines collated questions from different sectors, netizens, and our correspondents and stringers all over the country. Our production staff chose common questions and grouped them according to themes. And we are hoping that the answers of the presidential candidates will help our audience to have an intelligent decision this coming polls. Back to you, Ruth.
Nako, George, nakaka-excite na makita nandyan na lahat ng ating kandidato. So we'll wait for the live debate in just a few minutes. Thank you very much to George Cahiles reporting from UST. Debates play a key role in our election process. How important are debates for both candidates and voters? Let's get some perspective from our guests today. Joining me here in the studio is political analyst Julio Tihanki. And via Microsoft Teams, we have sociologist Nicole Curato and chairman of poll watchdog Damfrel Gus Lagman. Good afternoon to everyone and welcome to CNN Philippines in person and virtually. We start with si Sir Gus, no, kasi ang Damfrel as a watchdog is known for yung quick count nyo, also for voters education. So pagdating po para sa mga botante, ano po kaya ang epekto ng mga ganitong klase ng debate? Sir Gus.
Paano uli yun? Hindi ko.
Ano po kaya ang epekto or maitutulong ng mga ganitong klase ng debate sa ating mga botante?
Anong maitutulong ng
debates, ng mga debates po?
Well, malaki kasi dito makikita kung anong mga opinion ng mga kandidato on certain issues, no? So, based on their opinions on the issues, major issues especially, then the voters can make a judgment who they should vote for, which opinion is, sort of jibes with their own personal opinions. So it's good, yeah, that we have this.
Professor Tihanki, who's with us here in the studio, kayo po on the part of the candidates kasi parang mas makikilala din sila di ba, sa pamamagitan nitong mga debate. Katulad kahapon, parang nakita natin yung mga sa vice presidential debate namin, no, yung mga lesser known candidates, pero nakapagsalita, nabigyan sila ng fair share ng kanilang airtime. Ano po?
Oo, napakahalaga kasi dito sa exercise na tinatawag nating demokrasya, napakahalaga sa isang eleksyon ang pagkakampanya at parte ng pagkakampanya ay pagpapakilala sa taong bayan, no? So napakahalaga nito at lalong-lalo na yung mga hindi pa nabibigyan ng pagkakataon na ilahad sa mga botante kung ano ang inaalay nila sa taong bayan.
Kasi yung iba minsan maila po talaga sa media or parang minsan hindi mo alam kung natatakot ba sila, kung strategy ba nila yon or hindi ba sila handa na humarap.
Yung iba kasi nakakapagtaka kung sino pa yung nangunguna sa tinatawag nating survey, sila pa yung ayaw humarap, no? Baka naman akala nila lamang na sila, no? So parte din yan ng kanilang mga strategiya.
Nicole, yung narinig mo yung sinabi ni Professor Tihanki, no, parang part daw ng strategy, ganyan ba talaga yan? Yung iba naman dinadaan sa social media, pero dito sa mga debates, how important are these debates?
Very important yung debate format, Ruth, kasi there's something peculiar about this way of campaigning. And what's so different about debates is candidates have the opportunity to distinguish themselves with other candidates. And I think ito yung biggest hope ko for this debate. It seems to state the obvious, pero sana magdebate talaga sila. Kasi minsan, ang presidential debate, pwede siya maging speed dating. Yung sasabihin lang ng mga kandidato kung ano yung mga pangarap nila para sa bayan. Pero yung kaibahan kasi ng debate format is pwede nilang ipaliwanag kung ano talaga yung kaibahan nila sa ibang kandidato. And this is especially important in this debate kasi maaalala natin na isa sa pinakamalalaking issues leading up to the filing of certificates of candidacy is the failure of the opposition to unite. So ako bilang botante, gusto kong malaman, ano ba talaga yung pagkakaiba ninyo sa mga ideas at policy issues kaya hindi kayo makapag-unite? So sana lumabas yon yung ganong differences in this debate.
Yung Professor Tihanki, yung binanggit ni Nicole, no, na parang madi-distinguish per kasi of course meron silang pa-isa-isang interviews, one-on-one, no? Pero ito kasi nakahilera talaga sila at yung sinasabi nga ni Nicole, gusto niya makita yung talagang debate.
Oo nga. Umpisa pa lang ang pagkakaintindi natin sa salitang debate, talagang pagdidiskurso, no? At pagpapalitan ng mga idea, no? At hindi dapat to minsan akala natin kailangan friendly yung debate, no? Akala natin kailangan soft yung mga question. Hindi. Kasi the presidency is a pressure cooker job, no? It's a 24/7 job at maraming mga pressure, no? At kung sa debate lang hindi ka marunong humarap at marunong mga twiran, lalong-lalo na sa mga idea na taliwas doon sa mga hinahain mo, mukhang may kakulangan ka.
Okay, pagpapatuloy natin ang ating discussion. You're watching a special presentation of CNN Philippines on the presidential race. We'll be back after the short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to a CNN Philippines special presentation. In just a few minutes from now, 9 presidential candidates will share the same stage for the first time for a debate. CNN Philippines invited all 10 of them, but the office of former Senator Bongbong Marcos declined our invitation. They said, quote, "Due to the schedules we have already confirmed for the unit team's campaign commitments, we are unable to accept this additional engagement at this time." Marcos is currently in Pangasinan to woo voters. Now let's go back to our guests. Gusto ko lang ulit unahin natin si Sir Gus Lagman of NAMFREL. Sir Gus, kahapon nakita natin yung mga vice presidential candidates doon sa ating debate. Ngayon naman po, presidential candidates 9 out of 10. Ano po yung issues na gusto nyong matalakay or gusto nyong marinig mula sa kanila?
Well, of course, in general, gusto nating malaman kung anong plataforma nila, no? Pero sana meron din silang banggitin kung ano ang kanilang opinion. Unang-una doon sa paano nating marirecover yung mga bilyones na wala sa atin nung some decades ago, no? So, gusto ko sana malaman nila paano natin babawiin yung mga bilyon-bilyon na nawala sa atin. Yun ang isang interest ko. Of course, yun nga, gaya ng sabi ko, yung una, ano ba ang plataforma nila? Anong gagawin nila? Paano nila iaangat ang buhay ng mga Pilipino? Dahil hindi masyado maganda ang naging buhay ng Pilipino itong mga nakaraang taon. So, kailangan meron sila plano kung paano iaangat ang buhay ng mga Pilipino.
Nicole, kahapon nakita natin from the vice presidential debate kahit papano, no, may sinabi na silang policies na rin ng kanilang running mate or yung magiging administrasyon nila. May mga contentious issues, medyo nagkainitan kunwari doon sa West Philippine Sea, yung economic policies, and even yung controversial war on drugs. May gusto ka pa bang marinig or ma-clarify mismo ng ating presidential candidates ngayon?
Ako, Ruth, I think may reputation talaga ang CNN Philippines debates for being a game changer. Not necessarily to make a candidate win, but to shift the landscape of conversation. So I think this is an opportunity, for example, for lesser-known candidates to make their case to the nation. So yesterday, obviously, the breakout star was Professor Walden Bello. He is a professor and a close friend. He's been in politics for a long time, but he got a platform yesterday to interrogate politicians with a national profile. So obviously, mainit yung debate sa Twitter. I've been monitoring this. Some people found him aggressive. But I think one advantage of his confrontational approach is he also brought out the best out of the other candidates. So for example, Senator Pangilinan was able to clarify his position on taxes and foreign policy because because Professor Bello was able to pressure him. So sana ganun yung isang magandang outcome ng ganitong klaseng debate na for lesser-known candidates to make their case and challenge established politicians to broaden the national conversation kasi hindi naman pwedeng yung mga sikat lang yung may boses when it comes to political campaigns.
Later, babalikan natin yung ating mga guests and analysts. We're counting down to the CNN Philippines presidential debate. Keep it here on CNN Philippines. You're still watching a CNN Philippines special presentation, The Filipino Votes, the Presidential Debate 2022. I'm Ruth Cabal. Before this much-awaited debate, we asked you if you had a chance to ask our presidential candidates a question, what would it be? Our Mencho Macapagal joins us live to tell us your answers.
That's right. What do the people want to know from those running for the top posts? Let's start with this one from Francis on Twitter. He wants to know about their plans to keep track of local government officials and how they are performing. Now, aside from Francis, we also have Ernesto here, who wants to bring up the issue of rising oil prices, asking what intervention these candidates can offer on the matter. It is a relevant question since we have had 8 straight weeks of oil price hikes. And with the presidential and vice presidential hopefuls revealing more about their plans this campaign season, this question from Jonathan on Facebook wants to know how they plan to remain accountable should they fail to deliver on their promises. And that's all for now. Back to you, Ruth.
Thank you, Menchu. And at this point, we need to say thank you to Guzman, chairman of political watchdog NAMFREL. And thank you to political analyst Julio Tihanki and sociologist Nicole Curato. But we'll get back to you later. The nation is about to witness a political showdown among 9 presidential candidates. Catch the CNN Philippines presidential debate at the top of the hour. You can also watch it on our digital platforms. I'll see you again for post-debate analysis. I'm Ruth Cabal. Thank you for watching.